Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting and exciting video because we have, like maybe one or two Nintendo Switch 2 updates, which seem very exciting. It's like games leaking out that we know about that didn't show up in the Nintendo Direct. So, it's like what's going on there. So that's all exciting. But we have Pokemon, 3D Mario, and Zelda Ocarina of Time remake news, updates, and leaks. I'm talking about like release date leaks for all of those, plus more. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. It feels weird because we're coming off the Nintendo Direct, right? I've said it before, it was like great, kind of good, not amazing, but it was still exciting. But that does not mean news is slowing down so much that I picked like 4 or 5 things to talk about in this video, but there's another 25 things I could be talking about. But Zelda news, 3D Mario news, next gen Pokemon news, and maybe something else. So we have some very exciting stuff to talk about. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would really mean the world to me. Also, you might as well just follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep our communities growing. And let's just go and get right into this one. So the first thing I want to do quickly is talk about the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion Remastered Deluxe Edition, which I didn't even know it was a Deluxe Edition, coming over to the Nintendo Switch 2. I believe this released like 6 or 8 months ago on other consoles, and I'm a fan of Skyrim, I'm a fan of Fallout, a lot of Bethesda stuff. I never played the OG Oblivion, so I thought, I could buy this on my PlayStation 5, but it just feels like something that would come over to the Switch 2, especially with how much I supported Skyrim on the Switch and Switch 2. And it did get announced, I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago. Maybe it was even in the last Nintendo Direct, like last year actually, or a partner showcase or something. But it got announced and then went radio silent. So I thought this would probably show up in that recent Nintendo Direct with a release date. But again, that did not happen. We don't have a release date, but I do think this game is releasing in the next few weeks, possibly even a shadow drop, because you have to remember it actually shadow dropped on other consoles. But you can see right here, through the ESRB rating, we can see that the game was just rated and the Nintendo Switch 2 is in there. So that's what I was saying. I don't know if it was like the base game that was on other consoles, and now this is a deluxe edition that's going to all consoles and the Switch 2 at the same time. But it just seems like in the next week or two, this is coming to the Switch 2. Now, while this is exciting, I, have kept tabs on this game since it released. And it seems like not only was it like the famous Bethesda jank, the game was just broken. It was not supported. It was basically abandoned. And this is people on Xbox and PlayStation saying this. So if that's the version we get on the Switch 2, that does not make me that excited about it. So hopefully, when it does come over to the Switch 2, there'll be like a huge patch across all consoles, because this is something I want to play, but not if it's not worth playing. Now, normally I'd have a few more smaller updates. Like I said, I could have added those in this video, but there's just more exciting stuff to talk about, so why waste the time? So why don't we get into Pokemon and 3D Mario news? Yeah, that's something you would normally leave to the end of the video. We got more exciting stuff to talk about. But we have a leak coming from a very credible leaker, and this isn't coming from Nate the Hate. This is coming from a page on Twitter that only leaks stuff through data mines and just real credible leaks, right? Like they actually find out real valid information. So that's where these are coming from. So that page is Centro Leaks over on Twitter, and they leak predominantly Pokemon stuff, but other stuff will pop up here and there. So first, let's just start with the Pokemon news. Pokemon Winds and Waves are currently planned for release in September of 2027. That is the eternal target month the development teams are working towards, of course, subject to changes or delays. So sometimes Pokemon, I think, launches in November, so it could be delayed to November, but September, that's perfectly fine. Now, it does feel weird that we would go, when did Pokopia come out? March, I think? March or April? So we would go from March 2026 all the way to September 2027 without another Pokemon game, especially a real Pokemon game. Pokopia is obviously like a Minecraft style game or whatever. I just don't see it. I think we're definitely going to get a remake or remaster or something in the meantime. It just feels like that. Maybe Generation 2, Generation 3, Black and White, something. So this is cool though, man. I'm actually glad that they're cooking on this because the trailers look great, but imagine what it could be. Now on top of that, we also have a leak for the next 3D Mario game, which is planned for November 2027. So normally Pokemon, I feel like it launches in November, but if Mario is coming in November, well then Pokemon is not coming in November. You have to remember, if we go back maybe like a month or maybe even 2 ago now, before Nate the Hate started talking about Star Fox, 10 days before that, there was somebody else talking about Star Fox and Wario Land and something else, but they also said the next 3D Mario game is coming in 2027. So all these leaks are starting to line up to where it really seems like the next 3D Mario game is coming in 2027, which, you know, you could probably guess something like that. It's arguably one of the most anticipated franchises we want to see return, but it's kind of cool having, you know, this isn't real confirmation, but stuff trending in that direction. So if 2026 doesn't turn out to be the year we expect for the Switch 2, which I still think it's going to be okay, 2027, bro, come on now. What are we doing here? It's going to be absolutely incredible. Now let's start getting into some Legend of Zelda news. And I mean, the only news we know about right now is the Ocarina of Time remake. But what the hell is this remake? Now, we did see a trailer that didn't show much, but what it did show, in my opinion, is quality. Like, everything about that trailer felt so high quality. Even the music in the background, the logo, the graphics, everything was just like, whoa, this is gonna be, it's gonna be awesome. But now we have more official news about The Legend of Zelda coming from Nintendo directly, and this isn't information they wanted out just yet. And on top of that, I have a theory, again coming from Nintendo, I have it right here, that I think actually could reveal the release date for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. So first, we have an unpublished description for the Ocarina of Time remake for the Switch 2, visible through the web search. Typing in Ocarina of Time remake website US into Google and other search engines returns a link to its entry on the Nintendo website with a description that isn't visible on the page itself. And that information reads, the Nintendo 64 Classic Reborn as a full remake. That's pretty interesting, right? A full remake for Nintendo Switch 2. Experience Ocarina of Time with stunning visuals, updated designs, and timeless gameplay. So right away, this is a full-on remake. People are thinking like, is it just going to be a better version of the 3DS version, which was a better version of the N64 version? And if we're following basically what they're doing with Star Fox, it's a full-blown remake. So stunning visuals, of course it's going to look great on the Switch 2. Updated designs, that's interesting because they're changing the actual designs. And also timeless gameplay, which leads us to believe that they're changing the gameplay entirely. Now, if you remember my video from 3 or 4 days ago or something, I looked up some previous patents and I found patents that were 100% for The Legend of Zelda, right? It was a character with a sword, and it seemed like they were just making new gameplay. And to me, and a lot of you guys as well, it seemed like this is definitely going to be for a future Zelda game. And I mean, Ocarina of Time remake, this patent, it's all lining up too perfectly. So I think this does answer a lot of questions, even though it's not a lot of information. And I've been saying, I think in July, also even more times in July, but I think in July we're going to have a Zelda event. I have no evidence for this. I just think we're going to get more information, our first look at gameplay, our first look at the Zelda movie trailer, and possibly even the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake or Zelda themed Nintendo Switch 2, which has also been rumored ever since these Ocarina of Time remake rumors had started. But when the hell is this game coming out? Well, Nintendo did say 2026, which is good because last time I checked, let me check, yeah, this year is 2026 and there's only 6 more months of this year. So it's not that much longer to wait. And they could have said like winter 2026, or would they say winter 2026? I forgot what they say sometimes, but they'll say like winter, and that can mean either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, and that would lead us into the movie. But they said 2026, so probably even before the end of the year. And I'm going to show you a theory that I have coming directly from Nintendo that could possibly reveal the release date or at least the release month. And I don't know if you can see it up there, but right on top of this white shelf, I have a Nintendo calendar that I got directly from Nintendo that you get by trading in your platinum points from Nintendo Online. So this is it right here, right? This is what it looks like. It says 2026 and it's for Nintendo Classics, and every single month will have a different game on it. For example, right now it is June, and we have Punch-Out, which is something that we don't currently, have besides through Nintendo Online. But I did find a pattern, and I don't think it's random. It could be, but I just feel like there's some kind of mojo going on here, right? So let me show you what we had last month. For last month, we had Yoshi for the month of May. And what game came out on the Nintendo Switch 2 in May? Well, we got a new Yoshi game, which is pretty interesting. I mean, this could be a coincidence, or it could be trying to tell us something. Now, look what we have coming for the month of October. Yeah, not only is it The Legend of Zelda, this is the Ocarina of Time link for The Legend of Zelda. Just saying. This could be a stretch, this could be a reach, this could be whatever the hell other words you can use for stretch or reach, right? But I just feel like Ocarina of Time link, we got an Ocarina of Time remake coming out, and that's who's on the calendar for the month of October. Could Ocarina of Time remake be coming in October? Yes, 100% I feel like this could happen. It just feels like too weird of a coincidence and too random. Nintendo's been working on these games forever. Why do they have these specific games on the calendar? Just saying. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most, so in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys, truly. Are you excited for a new Zelda game, a new Mario game, a new Pokemon game? What games are you looking forward to the most on the Switch 2? What are you currently playing? Just start a conversation. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter or both of those on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member. This is the ultimate way to support this community. It would mean the world to me, and we stream every single week over here, and it's awesome having all the channel members in stream hanging out. So I'd love for you to become a channel member, and you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.